forum tonight. Number one, open session, building permits, and Board of Health applications. First here, Heather Rule, come on up.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be opening up a culvert that exists on my property because the beavers had dammed it all up. So I'm not altering the beaver dam in any way. I'm opening the culvert and hopefully that will alleviate the problem with the beavers. And I stopped into the DCR office and they ran a map for me, but I did this on my own. They asked if they were in priority habitat.
Excuse me,
Yep.
first, what's the address you're talking about?
81 Taylor Street in Granby.
We always think about
Yep. Good note takers.
Yep.
Yeah. So the pond is small, it's existing, it's right there. And basically, we have family beavers move in. They're not my beavers, they're just beavers. And they come up from the swamp and raise the level of the naturally occurring dam that allows us to go from one side of the field to the other side of the field. And they plugged up the culvert that was there to drain it. So I asked the folks at DCR, is there anything I need to do? They checked on the priority habitat, there's nothing there. So I said, do I need to do anything else? They said, you should let your Conservation Commission know that this is an action that you're taking.
So it's a maintenance operation, no trapping, no killing.
No.
Okay.
No.
You guys good with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
So I understand what you're saying. I'm going to repeat it. You're going to do some maintenance at
Yes.
this big culvert, and you're going to clear a beaver dam.
I'm not clearing a beaver dam. I'm opening the existing culvert that they plugged up. But the rest of
But
the
that's
dam
not
is
it.
underneath. So,
Sticks in a pipe, essentially.
thank you. Sticks in a pipe.
Sticks.
But that way, if somebody notices that there's backhoe in the field, then you'll know what it's all about, and that there's no priority habitat involved. Do you have any questions?
So all we have to do is note it, Bill?
Just note that, just note that.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yep, thank you.
It's a minor maintenance operation. Thanks, Heather.
Yep.
Okay, anyone else here?
The Board of Health Director to come here and
DCR. Department of Conservation. State agency. Okay, we're in open session. The next person on the list, come on up, please.
the other lady, the young lady that said she would be here, sent me a text message, Bill, that she changed her mind. It was late, Linnea Bushy at 64 Kendall Street. She wants to put a garage in her house. It's nowhere near. That's Mr. 35 Bank. So anyway, she's not going to be here, so it's whoever else is here, or we can jump to other business.
Is anyone else here for a Board of Health permit or a building permit? No? Right, why don't we go through the laundry list of administrative duties today? Does that make sense?
We could.
Okay. Commentary. Mr. Chapdelaine is not here tonight, but we still have quorum. And I think Ann will be presenting a plant of the month this week. Okay, so we'll wait that.
I do have one.
Go ahead.
All right, we got a call this week from a Michael Ball. He lives at 88 Bachelor Street, travels over Porter Street quite a bit. Beavers at Bachelor Street culvert at a corner, and then building a dam. And his concern is that it's going to cause flooding and everything else. So I did say when that's happened in the past, you can go to the Board of Health and they can get rid of the beavers. But I said, I cautioned him not to touch the beavers. But he said he's just joined us as a courtesy board. He didn't know who to talk to. So he said the dam's going to have to become pretty large before it damages any of the houses because Bachelor Street at that end is a pretty steep valley. Houses are pretty high. So he said, you're gonna have water going over Porter Street before that happens. So I took it upon myself to call David Rocher at the Highway Department, who took a drive out there, and he said, yes, there's about a 2-foot beaver dam, the water is backing up. But he said, they're not gonna do anything about it because the culvert at Porter Street, or that bridge, is actually quite a bit higher. So he said, they'll keep an eye on it. They're allowed to take down the beaver dam if they feel it's going to be a hazard to the street. But he said right now they're not going to. He said if the dam broke, it would be a non-issue for them and anybody downstream.
What's the person's name that called Dave?
Michael Rio Val, who lives at 88 Basham Street. And he noticed the dam being built. And I said, yeah, beavers will do that. Fine. But don't touch them. They're protected environments.
Right.
So that was pretty much the basic, other than we have our new monitor Samsung television set.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to applaud Dave and company for rapid response, taking the dead TV, getting it out of service, purchasing a new unit, and getting it up and running after we had a problem with the cable line, of which I guess they replaced, so we're in good shape.
Yep.
So we're back in normal operation mode after a couple of months without full service. Right. Okay, next meeting, December 10th, 2024, our usual Tuesday, and approved minutes, October 8th. Bob, have you reviewed those?
Yeah.
Kev, did you take a look
I
at
did.
it? It was good. I'm ready. Thank you. So I move that we approve the minutes as drafted on, for October 8th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, Bob.
Either one, pick one.
Okay.
Okay, Dave, you got a bill for us?
Got a couple bills. I apologize for this is, the first one is for Leonard Catholic, and he helped us with the installation process. That's his bill that he'll sign off on.
I'm going to recuse myself on that. One's up front.
And then the second one, I spent all afternoon here, so if you could sign off on that, did you not here?
Okay, you guys can sign off on that too. All right, this one, let's sign approved on that one too. Yeah, just put approved 11/12/24.
Today's the 12th.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Dave wants his pen back. Okay, I'm refusing myself on that. And the other one's here. Excellent. Thank you. Okay.
Next one is financial accounts update. That's a work in progress. I've not been given a tutorial on that, so I have nothing to report there.
Number 6.
6, yeah.
We have our,
And.
and better. So give us the lowdown on the plant of the month.
Well, I was gonna bring in poison sumac to keep it clean. But instead,
Yeah, the poison sumac has the white berries, right? The little white berries.
well, I didn't bring it in.
Oh, you did?
No.
Thank you. And do you have anything I can put on the screen? Or?
It's on my phone, just I can pass it around. This is just a close-up of what I brought, which is, you see it?
Yep.
Which is the Lycium locum, which is pincushing moss.
Oh, Oh, I see, okay. Yeah, you see that, so that, it's in, is it obligate or fact wet? But it's in a wetland environment, correct?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, but, I mean, moss in general can grow richly, you know.
Right.
Because it takes in nutrients out of the air,
Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen that.
the water, the ground, the sun.
Yeah.
But this particular one, the pincushion,
Audience. What's the name of it again?
like biome global.
How about
Pincushion,
an
pincushion
English
moss.
name?
So its common name is pincushion
Pincushion
moss.
moss.
Okay, pincushion, okay, good to know.
Yeah, so this one likes very acidic, clay-like soil. People actually plant this in their gardens because it spreads and no maintenance, so it's really, really easy to take care of. Lasts in your garden like 5 to 10 years. Grows on bark, rock, concrete, moist soil.
Yeah, I've seen it in areas that are dominated by peat moss, by peaty soils out in the back swamp. So I have seen that in that environment as well, so that makes a lot of sense.
Well, this is particularly good because it cleans the air.
Oh.
That's why I chose it. So it absorbs a lot of pollution, including heavy metals. So it actually cleans the air. And it also stores the pollution. So if you don't know what type of pollution is around, scientists can read it through the plant. So like, especially with heavy metals. So like all moss, it actually does have a vascular system, but not like the traditional of the roots and the stems and the leaves. But it does attach a little bit to the topsoil. I mean, so you just pull it off at the top. There's like no real roots, but it's still considered vascular.
Well, we should send that to our new EPA commissioner, Liz Zerman.
So it reproduces with fragmentation, totally seedless. So the outside has the female like moss, and that is how it fragments and grows new clumps, and then more new clumps, and then more new clumps.
So what's its aerial distribution? Is it New England, Massachusetts, or all over the country?
North America and Europe,
Okay.
for this kind. But I mean, moss is everywhere, but this kind of Europe and North
So
America.
it's temperate climate.
Yeah, and so it's a haploid, you know, it comes from a haploid, so even though it's vascular, it has one set of chromosomes. So, and that's basically the story of moss.
What kind of critters hang out in it?
You know, anybody can eat it, even people can eat it.
Really?
It's edible, but they say not to if there's other stuff around. So it does have nutrients.
So if you're on one of those survival shows, remember that, guys. If we're in Survivor someday, and we need something to eat, we're good to go with that. Good to know. It's better than eating a poison mushroom, I guess. That's for sure.
It doesn't look real tasty, but.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I can start to lose a few pounds.
Excellent. Anyone in the audience have a question on this from Ann, Dave, got any questions?
Too much. No, very good.
Very well done, Ann. That's good. I'm glad she'll do this every month for us. This would be very, very instructive. Thank you. Okay, news announcements. Status Forge Pond Dam Restoration Project. Dave, I think you have something.
A couple of weeks ago, we got a call from Chris McClure, or Tour Engineering. They are the engineering company hired to create the engineering documents for the repair of Forge Pond. And what they're really focusing on is not so much the dam as the wing walls or trainer walls, as Bill pointed out, which directs the water to the dam. Those will be replaced. So what they did a couple weeks ago was they were asking us to be notified, basically a notification. They needed to do some geotechnical sampling of where the new trainer walls would be located and make sure the foundations would be designed correctly. They hired the firm John Turner Consulting, which is a big name soil tech company, to actually do the drilling. We were invited to go. Bill and I drove by just to make sure they were there. But basically, they did the work, took the samples, and now they take the information they got and design the wing walls accordingly. So they're going to be pursuing the actual design work over the next couple of months. And this is work that hopefully will be completed, construction will be completed next year. So this long-awaited Forge Pond repair will finally come to a conclusion next year. So,
Very good.
any questions from anybody?
Does that, any of you folks live in the Forge Pond area? Oh, okay. Well,
You know, it's not. Forge Pond is a very fast fishing, I'm told. So, anyway, that's.
the next thing would be the dredging, but that's another. So
That's
theirs. Okay, thank you. Any other announcements?
None on this side for anybody else has one.
Site visits to be scheduled.
So, unless they present themselves, we have none at this point. We're going to talk about site visits that we concluded as we go to the public hearing portion.
Actually, I see we have 92.
92 isn't on the agenda, but Bill and I did go and look. We did perform a site visit for Chad Cadera, and he's looking to build a house off of Chicopee Street. It's going to be an estate lot, and from that tells us it's a 40-foot wide right-of-way back to a larger area where the house will be located. And he was looking to do some clearing. And what we, land clearing is the amount of trees. But as Bill and I noticed, there's significant elevation there. So how he's going to achieve the driveway, where the house will be placed, and it's going to be an engineering feat. It could be a very interesting project. Because it's not on the level part of the ground, it's on the actual hill, and it's a lower terrace where he wants to place the house. So he right now is looking to clear trees, so, and that's what we gave him, some direction on, some guidance on what trees he can remove. So,
Now, is he going to mark the trees for our further review, or how do we do
we basically gave him direction of he could remove trees above the 200-foot mark, which he did mark the 200-foot
That's right.
boundary of the riverfront, because that's up against Turkey Hill Road.
That's right. We took some photos.
Yeah, we took some photos, but basically it's an old tree farm that the trees are very tall. They've been infested with vines, so many of them are dead. Actually, Bill, you gave me some guidance to remove some trees for fear that they would come down. He later asked if he have to do that because those weren't the trees he was looking to remove. But
He's the guy who's gonna come to the meetings.
he came off of the cuff. He didn't come with an application. We said the way you want to do this is when you're ready to put the house in, get the house identified, the septic needs to be designed, the well needs to be located, and how you're going to get your driveway down to the house, and then put an RDA, or a request for determination, together. That's what everybody else does. And that will give us enough information to, it should meet a notice of intent. It was from our observation. So,
Okay, Dave, thank you. It's 18 after. Any other correspondence received?
just that one, but I was told it's in our file here. You've seen it. But it's not in front of us because it's the zoning board of appeals action.
Oh, that's a ZBA.
And then we don't,
119.
our name's on it, but it's, I don't know if you want to enter it into the record now.
Yeah, why don't you do so? It's Properties Plus LLC, Stephen Marion, 119 West State. And apparently he wants to,
Doesn't say, but I'm assuming it's adding another building on the property, and Granby doesn't allow more than one accessory building,
right, unless you go to ZBA, and that's exactly.
and that's what he's doing. So, and should I enter? it?
Yeah, into that.
All right.
Okay, other business. request for a certificate of compliance and a 53G release for Eversource, primarily for the entire project and the big culvert replacement on Bachelor Street.
They came before us a couple meetings ago, as you recall, and we had the option of using the final review that Emily Stockman, our peer review, she completed on-site final inspections for both the structured replacement project, which had lots of wetlands involved, as well as the bridge culvert on Bachelor Street. It's called the culvert, but it's really a nice bridge, small bridge. It crosses a tributary that goes into Bachelor Brook. So Bill and I went there on November 12th and inspected the culvert on Bachelor Street, took some pictures. And basically, this is the certificate of compliance that if you could sign it, this will complete the certificate of compliance for that project.
So Dave, going forward, we're making only one copy.
We're
Xeroxing
they'll
things.
make copies.
Okay.
I
That's
mean, Kathy will make copies.
Yeah, that's a more efficient.
Yeah, it has to be.
That way we don't have to sign 5 or 6
Right.
documents. Thank you.
The Tronky Avenue, I never got to the letter because I spent all my afternoon here. So that's a work in progress.
It's 20,
61 Pleasant Street.
20 Tronky Ave was releasing the stock work order, and 61 Pleasant was the status report for the drainage issues on the Halon property, next to the donut shop. Okay, very good, Dave, thank you. All right, so I trust, just, again, we can't start until 7:30, but we have Curtis Meadow is here. Okay, you guys are here. And we have Deborah Peliquin is here.
No, that's Neil
That's yeah,
Jackson.
that's Neil Jackson's
We're-
project.
We've already done site visits on those,
So we can sign off
as we have also Chris Fleetwood,
on it.
for Lot 2 and East Street.
Okay. And the other folks are for Chicopee Sportsman, I trust.
Yeah.
So hopefully the first 3 will go very, very quickly and then we can get it to the other one. Very good. So we got 8 minutes to kill.
As, well, I don't want to start these yet. I didn't check any boxes here, Bill, so.
Actually, you know what you could do, Dave, is call up the sportsman club and ask them to get that set. That new TV looks really sharp, Dave.
What's that?
The TV, it looks, it's a sharp looking design. I like the thin frame, it looks nice.
What's the address again? 8, for Chicopee Sportsman, it's 381.
All right, actually,
381.
it's what I thought, actually.
Bob, you guys gonna make snow tonight?
I didn't know.
Friend of mine up in Quebec, they had a foot of snow up the south side of San
I
Juan.
really don't think they're gonna do anything this week. They got one more week of biking. We're actually doing one zip line tour on Saturday. Well, it's supposed to be, huh? Well, I'm not going this weekend.
That's fine, Dave.
It's good to be close.
So you're, of course, you're gonna stay open past Thanksgiving with greens. You're gonna have open greens all year round?
Yeah, I do, that's
Hey?
You're on the side of
Oh, I know. It's got beautiful greens, we got beautiful greens. Like you say, all you need is one disaster.
You guys have, follow these, like, bent grass.
Yeah. You know, it's one thing about that Pine Valley, the narrative, they have Bermuda fairways. In those days, in 62, they did, probably not now, but in 62, they did Bermuda fairways. But you know the nice thing about Bermuda fairways, the ball sits up really nice. It's like hitting the ball off the tee. That's why we all hate the bad fairways at the orchards. They're too very tight. Really tough to move the ball.
Yeah.
You gotta open your face and hit a cut, and just gotta open your face and just hit a cut.
Compress the ball.
Well,
Did we start bringing pens to this thing?
yeah, actually,
Not part of my
Dave,
job.
we should order a box of pens from Staples, maybe.
I used to get one
You know,
here.
Kathy has a cabinet of,
I have a box at home.
yeah, she has a
I
cabinet.
can bring
Good.
it.
It's not part of the agent's job.
Yeah, I'll bring a pen.
Take that.
Is this your pen?
Oh, it's my pen.
It's a nice pen, Bob.
Hi.
That's a
To East Street. Four minutes or?
yeah. Steve, you gonna make a presentation on the computer or not?
This is,
We're not gonna put these other maps out. Will anybody look at it?
No, I want all the maps visible to the entire crowd.
Well, you asked me to put
Oh,
the
yeah.
last one
Yeah.
up.
But I was wondering if he had anything on a flash drive that he wanted to show.
oh, no.
Oh, you don't?
If I know that, I would probably, I didn't know you were all, I'll let you know.
Yeah, all the maps for the project would have been in our electronic submittal.
Like, oh, I saw that, I saw that stuff.
We could submit a map potentially, but otherwise we have.
They are in your electronic submittal?
Yeah.
Yep.
I could go to that file. I could go to that file. This is the mass mapper file.
Yeah, I think this will suffice, but
Yeah,
if you want to look at the rest of them,
Yeah,
they're
I
there.
think this is fine.
So it's in Morgan and stuff. And Dan Morgan stuff.
Never met.
You did? I guess people like him as a teaching part. He's out there giving lessons. I knew he charged a lot for a lesson. It was like $150 for half. Not cheap. Oh, it's full much price. Well, have you seen any bears or bobcats recently?
I think it was right around the last meeting, the one that ran up between John's house and my house and across the street.
I haven't
It
seen,
was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't seen
I
any.
haven't done my security cameras.
And I haven't seen bobcats in forever.
Yeah, I haven't picked them up in a while. Someone else, I forget where they live, they were saying the bobcat family is now here. Okay, another minute, and then we'll start our RDA and NOI sequence. Hello, Neil. How you doing? Okay, it's now 7:30. We'll begin our public hearings. First one is continuation of RDA Curtis Miller whether or not the activities depicted on the plan reference are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act and its regulations with regard to a property located at 35 Bags Hill, known as 16-B3 in the town of Granby. Curtis, come on up, please. Dave, why don't you fill us in on what's transpired?
Bill and I had a site visit at 35 Banks Hill Road, and this image shows the proposed location for the new garage. This is an existing garage that's next to the existing house. The new garage is going to be a little bit larger coming out to the front of the house, extending back up where it is, and about the same width. But the wetland that we were interested in is way over on this side here. So when Bill and I took a walkabout on this property, we recognized that the wetland is actually almost 100 feet. It's at least, it's at least 75 feet from the actual wetland right now. The wetland is very dry. So but we could tell by the vegetation on the trees and on the soil that it does, and you even said that it does get wet in the spring and things like that. So, but what this doesn't show is it's fairly level. There is some grade change here, but it's fairly level. And our observations said that this construction, the removal of this existing building, the construction of the new, we shouldn't worry too much about any sediment running off into this wetland. Turkey Hill Brook is down the hill on this side of the property, and it's really not related at all. It's quite a distance. So that's the determination that you signed already. What we haven't done is which box should we check. Bill, normally this is a negative.
Negative 3, I think a negative 3 would be called for. And Curtis, you plan on doing this in the next month? This
I
project?
actually, I don't think I can get the foundation in time, so I think it's going to be in the springtime. I'm going to do this project now.
Okay. So by springtime, you mean after
After
the middle of April? Okay, April or May then, okay.
Now, one of the things you had said was you didn't think it needed a silt fence or anything
Well,
because of the distance and the grade.
Particularly if he was going to do it in the next month, but in the spring, if that little wet area is filled with water, it might be prudent then to put in a silt fence.
So would we want a silt fence, which would be typically what we've done is stipulate that when the silt fence is installed, you'd invite us out to take a look at it where it's located. Our only statement is put the silt fence far enough away so that you don't have anybody crossing the silt fence. It becomes like a work zone barrier. So you don't put it close to the new structure.
And I use a geofabric, geotextile silt fence. It's inexpensive and easy to put in.
Easy enough.
Yeah. Rather than straw beds, I don't think it's You guys good with that? Okay.
Is that clear to you?
Yeah. Yes. So you'll write up the, you can add that as an additional condition, Dave, that silt fence
Well, we can-
shall be installed
Yeah.
and observed by the commission prior to construction. So -3. So I move then that we approve this subject to -3 and the conditions just stated.
Use whoever you didn't use.
One of us.
All in favor?
I just write notes. But what's going to happen, this is your determination, which is what the building inspector is going to be looking for when you go for your building permit. So you'll get this in the mail from Kathy. She's got a file because it also goes to Springfield as well. All right? So any other comments?
No, I think we're good.
This has been done. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Good to see you.
Thank
Keep putting in those solar installations. I hope business picks up. Solar stocks aren't doing well in the last week.
Good night.
Take care now, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, Deborah Pelican, 31 Cold Hill. I suspect this is Neil's project.
Dave, the engineering service.
Okay, you and Dave went out there last
Yes.
week, so you and Dave can discuss this.
So we are, limit of work is 65 feet from the DPW and
The system is 75 feet, greater than 75 feet.
That's a tight fit lot.
Oh, yeah. That's not well.
They gotta do a new well and
Yes. Yeah, we can't even get the 100 foot of the well. It is what it is.
how many square feet is that lot?
Barely, that's,
It's like a
meets
quarter
the
acre.
minimum.
16,000, not even a half acre.
Okay. Dave, any observations on your end out there?
No, it's about as tight as you can make it, and with the retaining wall, it's really gonna stop any overflow. Now, you did show a silt fence on the other guy's property.
Yes.
But it's basically to protect the wetland that's back here.
What kind of retaining wall are you using?
Block.
What does it show as a cantilever wall?
No, that's a
No, but I mean, this looks like it's a concrete.
It is, yeah, block.
But,
It's a stack block.
okay. Oh, it's
Dry stack block.
It's big blocks.
Yeah,
Two
2 by
big-
6.
well, let's call it big blocks.
2 by 6.
Yeah, because typically you don't put a foundation under this, you
Well, that's just.
just gravel, you just
Yeah.
compact them.
Yeah.
Because they're so wide.
Right.
Okay.
We just put gravel.
All right.
Traffic.
So again, this is another negative 3.
Yeah.
in my opinion. So I recommend we approve this as a -3 with no further conditions. Again, you've got your silt fence going in?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll send someone out, the commission, to observe that prior to
Okay.
construction. Okay? All on favor?
You gotta write that down. That, because that's not, it's already showing it, because that's gotta be written in that. Have them contact us.
Yes,
Yes.
contact us
Yeah,
within
yeah.
72 hours of
Okay.
construction.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Give us 3 days to get out there and take a look. So all in favor? Aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil.
Have a great evening.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks.
Please, before you go on.
Let us sign this.
Bob's turn second.
Deep trouble. Deep trouble. Okay, thank you, Dennis.
We used to stash them over there. Come back next week. I think these books have, these books have moved too much. The binders there and there. And then they would never. Not volunteer.
That's a great thing. Okay, next RDA filed by Chris Lua and Zeton to see whether or not the work depicted on plan referenced are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act and/or any municipal bylaw of the town of Granby with respect to our property located at Lot 2 East Street, 5B Lot 4-2 in the town of Granby. This is one of the older flam lots, and Dave and I went out there a couple of weeks ago. So is Mr. Plua here? Come on up. Good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good, good.
Basically, it's a very simple property. Our sensitivity here, if you all remember, there's a wetland uphill that drains across 48 East Street. Underneath the drive, we have a culvert here for, I forget the number of this, but this is the specific lot.
Yes.
So this drainage swale creates a small area of wetland. So that's what everybody's trying to stay out of. So when you look at the site drawing and the
Chris, did you bring your septic plan? Dave, do you have it?
Yeah. Basically, the drawing shows that this, he's out of the wetland.
me zoom in on the plan says, okay, so the house is to the rear of the lot, the leach field's actually in the front of the lot, and the well.
No. It's
Oh,
exactly.
it's the opposite, okay, East Street is down below, okay.
So this is the drive,
I got you.
and this is the street. The house is towards the front. The well is close to the street, but the septic is in the back. But look at it.
I want to see what the fill is with respect to the well.
You can see right here, the 100-foot buffer is to this leach field. So this fill actually goes into the 100-foot.
Right, so that would be a -3 project.
Right, but there's 70 feet from the edge of the swale, or
Right.
what is the wetland, to the placement of the silt fence. It's gonna show
Okay,
you
now
now.
has a silt fence shown?
Yeah, right here, that's what this.
Okay, all right, good enough. Okay, folks, everyone, Ann, you got that?
I got that.
Everyone got it, Bob?
Maybe
Kevin?
three.
If you have any questions for us?
All right, I move we approve this project as a -3 with no further condition.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
We have no silt fence
Well,
installation.
it's on the plan, so it's inferred by inference. If you want to.
No, I don't have to. I don't need to be doing actual.
Just get it inspected.
Yeah, just make sure that we look at it.
Yeah.
We look at it. So contact our office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we got a 4. So everything's done except the big project. So notice of intent, 165-0366, filed by Richard Masternardi. How do you pronounce your name? Masternardi, okay. Okay, very good, yes, yes. Like, sorry about this. Chicopee Sportsman's Club for the proposed project, which would entail the proactive treatment of Chicopee Sportsman Club Pond in Granby, Mass. with copper-based algicides to prevent eutrophication via seasonal algae blooms and enable a healthy ecosystem in the pond year-round. Okay, a little editorial liberty there, but okay. Steve, good evening.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Berkeley, principal ecologist, ecology consulting. Owen Kramer from Wetland Science Office is here too. Dick Reedus is also here from the Sportsman's Club. So, perfect little picture here. This is the Sportsman's Club pond. I don't know how many have been over to the Sportsman's Club to see the pond, but it's a little. It's not a natural pond. There's a stream that comes in. This is a very large. I don't know. It's officially a dam, but it's effectively acting like a dam. You know, it's probably 10, 15 feet high and pounding all that water. There's an outlet structure here, which is pretty antiquated type of outlet structure, and I'll get into that in a little bit about why that's kind of causing a problem on the pond. But what you have here is a pretty open water body, a lot of natural area around it. The area down here that the Sportsman's Club uses for fishing and boating and stuff out in the lake.
What's the area of the pond roughly?
Was it like an acre or two? I don't remember.
Something like an acre.
Yeah.
Give the exact.
It's in the very voluminous notice of intent, but a lot of this is just pond management protocols.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the state document.
Yeah, so.
So did you monitor?
2 acres.
Did you guesstimate the seasonal flow rate in and out of that system? The minimum flow rate, the maximum flow rate?
No, because the outlet structure is a little bit strange, because when it's not flowing, it doesn't draw it.
Yeah. But I mean, what's the variation in elevation of the pond over a season?
Oh, over a season? You can see that in the bank habitat, like the way that plants are growing in the bank. You know, on a wet year, you know, like earlier this spring when it was wet, you know, the water probably goes up 12 inches above this thing at maximum for it.
Okay.
And then low water, I haven't been out there recently. What is it now? Is the water pretty low with all the drought? Oh, yeah.
Okay. So is the outlet, is it like a broad crescent weir or?
It's a pipe that's just straight up.
You have a picture.
I'm sorry. We used to call those drop inlets.
It's like a drop. It's almost like
I've done dam inspections of those.
it's almost like a catch basin.
Yeah, you have a drop inlet and you usually have a dome on it to keep the crap out of it.
There's a
Streets and crap tend to get in there and clog those things up.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
a
the
drop
water
inlet.
drops down below the
Oh, yeah,
inlet,
that's a
nothing
drop.
comes out.
Yeah, it's called a drop inlet.
And when it's high,
Yeah, yeah, there's one in Monson I used to take care of.
It doesn't flow year round.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Run up.
because of that.
Just gotta be careful, you don't want little kids swimming out there falling into the.
Oh, no,
drop
scary.
inlet.
Went up to the kayak out there, you're like.
What's the diameter of the drop in? Is it like 4 feet diameter?
Yeah.
3 feet?
It's probably like
It's still pretty big.
yeah.
A kid could fall in it.
It's good size, but nobody goes in the water.
Okay.
It's far enough out.
So what do you have for protective rating on it?
Grid.
Grid.
It's like a rebar.
Okay,
Yeah. So because of that outlet structure, right, so when that water drops, like a drought season in the summer, this turns into a bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, this year wasn't bad, it was a really wet spring, there was a lot of flow through the system. They probably didn't need to do any treatment.
Yeah, the water must just heat up and then all the nasties start cooking.
Exactly, and that's what happened, what, like 2 years ago, we had that drought? He showed me some pictures, this thing looked like you could walk across the surface of it, and it was almost all floating algae, you know, that comes up from the bottom, and, you know, and you get the algae, then you get the oxygen fluctuation during the day, and it causes fish kills, so. This is to get permission to treat, I don't think in any given year they need to treat all the time, you know, this is the year they wouldn't have needed to do anything.
You don't have power out there, do you?
They've got the facility here,
You know what I would do, and again, you guys aren't proposing this, but I've done this on other jobs in the past. I put big diffusion air stones out there.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
Air stones are, Kevin, you can talk to that, you got them at your golf course. Kevin's the greenskeeper at Gillette Ridge down in Connecticut.
Yeah.
You must have a half dozen ponds with air stones. Talk about that.
We have found.
Yeah, they're good for keeping it aerated and.
They do, they keep it clean, but still, it didn't prevent a mass fish kill to happen this summer, so we're still, I don't think it's the solution. They do help with.
It helps, yeah. Especially if you're getting that fluctuation.
Oh, yeah.
You need that a little bit, where you're not getting that, like, nothing at night, everything.
It's a presentation before we offer any.
Well, I know. Well, this is we do to and fro.
Remember, I go back.
Remember, I'm still a faculty member, that's what faculty members do, that's the problem. Steve, which are you using, the chelated copper or the copper nitrate, what are you using?
I think it's, then that's the, we wouldn't be proposing, we wouldn't be doing any treatment, it would be the treatment contract that goes, I think it's called Ward or Captain.
All right, now the question is, the dispersion of the chemical, you're not gonna slug load it, are you? You're gonna disperse it uniformly across?
Yeah, so they go around with the boat and they kind of
Yeah.
diffuse it with the diffuser. They'll launch the boat here.
Yeah, and the reason is there's a lot of fractures in the bedrock up there. The
Yeah.
last thing we wanna do is, we don't want a big slug of copper getting into a crevice in the rock
Right,
and end up in
plugging
some
it out.
guy's well. Downgrading. So that's one thing we'll wanna talk to you about, is the diffusion criteria.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's Waters and Wetland is the contractor that they're going with to do the treatments. So as part of what they do, you know, they'll look at it in any given year, they'll come up with like a recommendation for that year, like, hey, this is what we saw out there, there's, you know, the aquatic macrophytes are getting really bad, or the algae is really bad, and then they'll say, hey, we want to use this chemical, they'll present that, you know, we can petition it.
So that means every time they do a new application, they're gonna have to come to the commission.
I don't think they need approval, but it's more to like come say, hey, this is what we're doing, and if you guys have any feedback, or if there's anything else.
Or maybe if we can do it under an RDA or something, fairly simple.
Because they want, they want to be able to like deal with it in real time. As
Right.
you know, could be different. Maybe 1 year could be nothing. Some years could be like maybe they even want to pre-treat for the algae so it doesn't get like super bad.
Now, do you guys stock this pond?
Yes, sir.
What do you stock it with?
Just, rainbow and, rubies.
Have you had fish kills?
No, very, very seldom. Never see anything.
Steve, have you monitored the temperature of the water out there?
Been to a profile, but it's pretty deep. For
Yeah.
how deep is it? Probably 10-ish feet.
Second channel is about 70 feet.
Oh, you can get, you're deep enough to have a spring turnover.
Yeah, that's fine. In a small area, but in this part of the pond is you can get it.
The reason is because Dave and I, we've had big discussions about Forge Pond, which is terribly shallow. And the only species that thrives in shallow, warm water is largemouth bass.
Pumpkin seed.
Yeah, pumpkins and
I
blueberries.
worked on that first project back 20 years ago.
So if you can support, if you guys can support rainbow trout, good for you. But again, I'm thinking diffusion stone might not be a bad alternate to stick in there.
Yeah, it would definitely help.
You go to aquatic ecosystems down in Florida, you get a kit for like $1,000, and the things work beautiful.
You don't have power up there by the pond.
Well, he just said he had a
I
pump.
thought he did, yeah. There's no power left without.
We got a generator, it's run by gasoline.
Oh, you don't have solar
We have no
panels?
electric power.
Oh, you could put solar panels up there, run a little pump or something.
He doesn't have it.
Apparently not. Okay.
But
This
you have
was
it-
kind of designed 50, 60 years ago,
Yeah.
up the north end up top. There was a silt pond made. And that dam was designed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We do have a dam number, but it's classified as low hazard.
Oh, yeah, low hazard
Yeah.
and low significance.
But every 10 years, they send me a form and I fill it out.
Yeah. So you've got a 5-digit mass dam number.
Yep,
And you have a dam inspection every 5 years?
10,
Every 10 years.
yeah. I never heard any mistake, this was 10, it might have been a mistake.
Yeah. Most dams in the state are required to be inspected every 5 years. Unless they're low lows, and I think low lows, they let them go every 10 years.
Yeah, I think that classification is based on what the downstream effect would be, which is.
It really hasn't changed much in 30 years. I've been there 50 years myself.
Okay, Steve, so tell us what else do we have to know about this?
That's pretty much it. I mean, they would come here, treat it, they would let you guys know before they did it. The applicants, they have to file for pesticide, treatment licenses to do the treatment. So, that would have to get approved by the state before they did anything. They'd have to come up with an exact plan. They would, look at the plants and do a, density map and look at what's out there in a given year before they treat, so they know what they're targeting. And do dissolved oxygen and pH and temperature of stuff, while they're treating, just before it to get baseline information. Any reports you need, it's not basically this condition, that all that stuff is sent to you guys to make sure that they keep you guys in the loop of what they're doing and when, how it works out in the end. But the whole point of it is to, keep the, in those bad years, keep the aquatic ecology here more kind of stable, so you don't get fish killed, you don't get that kind of stuff happening, Like I said, in most years.
Was there duckweed out there this year too? Duckweed?
There's a little bits on the edges,
But you had filament into
but it
your,
never got to the point this year where it got like bad.
but you had green algae, you didn't have red algae, you had green algae.
No, it was green algae, I haven't seen it, but
No red tide out there.
no. That's what can come in, I haven't seen it in years.
It sticks to the bottom.
Once when the algae, it'll come up these close and sits at the bottom, then it'll get so oxygenated and.
2023 was like, never seen like that.
Yeah, that's what started the kind of really bad, that's what kind of drought year, he's like, it was
It's
bad.
so windy.
Yeah, because the water dropped below this inlet, it was like that almost all summer, and this pond is,
So no water chestnut or anything like that?
No, didn't see it.
Good for you.
No, there's a lot of native stuff in there, it's actually pretty healthy.
That's
ecosystem.
excellent, that's excellent.
And it's good too, like the whole watershed to this is pretty much protected, so it's not like an urban watershed, it's got a lot of street and fertilizer and.
But the gradient of the feed channel is super steep, so that
It
must
is.
be a real flashy little watershed. So
It is,
when it
yeah.
rains, that must be
Exactly.
plowing in there, really. The flow rate must be huge. Okay. Well, I'm going to turn to Kevin Shoemaker because he's our resident pond maintenance expert. So, Kevin, let's offer your words of wisdom on this.
First, I gotta ask, what's the ultimate goal with this pond? Is it an aesthetic thing or for fishing or?
We, fishermen have died down a little bit, it's like, the kids that own families, they come up, they do archery for a few years, and it calms down and it picks up again, you don't know what's gonna happen. But we wanna save the pond, we don't wanna lose it, because if we neglect it, it's gonna, the weeds start growing, they're starting a little bit 5 or 6 foot out now. And if we don't keep track of that, it's gonna turn into just a wasteland, it'll be a swamp. We won't be able to use it, we like it safe for kids so they can fish.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. These ponds, they need care, they need attention and stuff.
We've never really done much to it in 50 years. But, like I say, 23 was really bad, it's on our eye, what?
Yeah.
Green algae, just got up there one Sunday in like April or May, and it was out about 20 feet. In fact, the next week it's 50 feet. And then within a month, the whole pond, never saw like that.
Are there any septic systems nearby the pond? Because that would be a contributing factor toward the growth of algae, is nitrogen-based compounds, namely from septic waste. So, your little building there, is there a septic system associated with it?
We had Santa cans now.
Oh, you do, okay. Again,
Way back, we had.
yeah, try to keep the waste products away from the pond as much as
You
possible.
can zoom out a little bit, kind of see the whole watershed. It's like pretty much just all forested.
Yeah, it's coming off the hill.
Yeah, it's all comes up in here. There's not a lot of development that's contributing.
Or what there is downhill too.
Exactly, it's all that right. Yeah, it's pretty much natural forested watershed.
Now, actually, Bob, you might have some comments, because you work up at Berkshire East, which is another real steep slope, so anything you see there, you have a comment on? Not really.
Does it go to a brook at the end?
And?
Does it empty into a brook?
Yeah, this is a dammed up brook. There's a stream that comes in, it's dam, and it's a brook that goes down.
And where does the brook go?
I don't know, ultimately to.
In the spring, it's
Well, that ultimately goes to Bachelor.
It crosses the Little Bachelor Brook south of Bachelor.
Yeah.
But it goes in, once we'll go into Bachelor, even when it's in the spring, there's a lot of snow. It's where the fire department have the host that fill up their neighborhood events.
Yeah.
You know, certain commissions would require you to do chemical sampling at the confluence of Bachelor Brook, right? before Bachelor.
But it depends on, I think here, just the fact that when they treat, the conditions are going to be to the point that water's not even flowing out of the pond.
But I mean, just for, if this were the Amherst Conservation Commission or Northampton, you would be doing thousands of dollars worth of sampling every 6 months on this.
Like during treatment.
Right.
Just to prove
But I'm thinking it might not be a bad idea to do at least one round of sampling, maybe a week or so after you do the treatment, to start with. That's just my thought. I don't know what you guys think about this. What do you think,
I
Jeff?
know the people I work with, because I don't have an aquatics license, I ask them treatments, what impact do they have on the environment, the wildlife, and they're really confident. And wildlife will be fine with all the treatments. Won't be harmed at all.
Yeah, though this type of stuff at lots of other ponds, what I understand on a lot of it is the residence time and the half-life of these chemicals is so short. I mean, they're not proposing some of that Florida or some of those longer active things. This is all short acting. It's almost like Roundup.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's not a good example.
But I mean, it's something that doesn't last long.
But from the pond through the tributary to Bachelor Brook, how many miles is it or feet?
I'd have to go calculate the energy as. I mean, if you want to.
I mean, just scale it off the
If you
back.
just turn on the USGS, you can probably see.
Yeah, I'm just curious, it has a tenth of a mile, quarter of a mile, half a mile.
Yeah, we were there in the spring.
There's a measuring stick, there's a little measuring tray up on the left that you can use. Yeah, just go to miles, change it to miles there, instead of feet. There you go, just go to miles. Yeah,
No, that's fine.
Yeah, not meters, miles, there you go. Just drag it to Bachelor.
That's Forge Pond.
I don't think that might, you know what, actually might flow into Forge Pond. It might flow into Forge Pond. It's around.
Well,
Forge Pond is Bachelor Brook.
Yeah, but I think that's where, I think it comes in right here.
so it's at
Or a tenth of a mile. I'm sorry, 9/10 of a mile.
Oh, okay, all right. So you're probably getting a ton of dilution in a mile, a region of a mile, you get a lot of dilution. See, here's the question, Steve. You don't know what they're proposing for quantity. You don't know what the concentration, the ultimate.
No, we don't. It would be different depending on
Because
what
you don't
the
know,
situation is.
you haven't done bathymetry, so you probably don't
We have
know.
bathymetry.
All right, so what's the volume? Do you know the volume So you went out and did depth soundings?
Yeah, I mean, we counted the plan. So we did that, so there'd be.
All right, so what's the average depth of the pond?
Yeah, we said around
7 feet?
Yeah,
And how many square feet is the pond?
2.2 acres.
So it's 10,000, so it's 70,000 cubic feet roughly. Right?
And we did ask them to treat it, people, because they do, they're dosing it by volume, so, yeah.
But again, we'd like to see their numbers before this project. Are you going to present that as a part of this permit out?
We don't have it now because we don't know what they're gonna treat, because there's nothing to treat right now, because the plants aren't bad enough to require anything.
But doesn't it make sense if you're submitting a notice of intent to present what's going to be used on the project? You're asking for an open-ended NOI approval, which I think
Yeah.
conceptually makes no sense.
For albicides and potentially a limited plant treatment, if they need it.
But we need some definitive numbers.
Could you condition it that at the time that they need to do a treatment, that the treatment people provide those to you? Because I don't even know.
I got to think about this.
Kevin, I have a question for you. Have you ever used like plants at the bottom of the pond to help prevent the algae or beneficial bacteria? Have you ever heard of that stuff?
No, I've not used those methods. No.
Okay, I was just wondering how effective. Or what I've read is that diluted copper also is a lot safer than regular copper when they're using that. Just
So I don't have an aquatics license, so I don't use those chemicals. I don't do any of those applications. I really don't. I don't know a ton about them.
But, I mean, the aquifer and people's wells, I don't know.
Well, that's a Board of Health issue. Steve, what I'm going to ask is, what company are you using as your provider?
Wetlands and water, that's their contract. with
Okay,
treatment.
why are they not here at tonight's meeting? Wetlands and water, why aren't they sitting here chatting with us?
I had nothing to do with this, I was, it's my own.
Steve, would you be able to get them for the next meeting?
I could see if they can come, yeah.
Would you? Because I'd like to continue this and then get a little more data from people. Because right now you're asking for an open-ended permit, which is great. I think from a business perspective, I love that. It's like having an open-ended purchase order with no number on it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's, we
Yeah.
could ratchet it into sort of.
Well, listen,
something
listen,
we want,
listen,
but
listen.
it's-
Have these people, have the technical guys come in and we'll have a frank discussion as to what they're proposing, and I want to see their concentration numbers and so on and so forth.
So if we're going to do that, they would have to know when and what conditions they're treated to.
That's correct.
So you would be proposing to continue this until which time, when treatment is imminent to occur, pending approval of an NOI?
Or are we just gonna?
Well, this NOI, why are you seeking NOI in November?
Well, we started this in the summer, we thought like, oh crap, they're gonna need to treat this.
Right, if it's going to be dry this summer, but
But, and then it ended up being, well, you know.
Okay, so your next treatment window will probably start when?
Next June.
Probably June, right?
notify next year.
So, listen, we've got a few months, why don't we bring them aboard and come up with some different scenarios and give you guys some options as to if condition A occurs, what you're gonna do, condition B occurs, what you're gonna do, condition C occurs. And that makes a lot of sense.
So maybe we just could not continue it for 2 weeks, we just continue it for a couple.
Well, no, we meet in a month, so have your people come in a month, we'll try to iron things out, and hopefully you'll have this thing signed off by the first part of the year. You'll certainly have it signed off by your next treatment window.
I'll check on their schedules.
But yeah, bring the other people in so we can chat with them.
Sure. And just to be clear, you'd be looking for them to come with basically, say they had 3 options.
Yeah, 3
And
scenarios.
they're each suitable for a given type of conditions in the
Yes,
pond.
yes.
Propose those would be conditionally approved with that.
Right.
Sure.
And then they'll let us know at the time of application, oh, we have a condition B situation, we're gonna go with condition B, say, okay, you're approved for condition B, subject to blank, blank, and blank, and you're all set. So that'll be perfect. You got 3, or maybe you might have 4.
We could just come up 3 or 4 scenarios of like low algae, high algae, a little bit of
That's
plants,
right,
big
that's
plants.
right.
Gotcha.
Perfect.
They will be coming in front of this commission each time they want to make a
No,
application.
no, they're gonna bring their technical people next time, and we're gonna come up with a game plan for different manatees in the pond and how to treat each manatee. So if it's A, B, C, or D.
Not my question. I understand that. The question is, are they going to come in front of this commission each time they're going to make an application? And tell us which option they're going to use?
Well, they will notify us a couple of weeks or a week before the application as to which option they're going to be utilizing, which chemicals they're going to be utilizing, and just give us a heads up.
That's the typical way that the.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That makes a lot of sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But you got to bring your technical people in,
Bring Joe
your
down.
chemists, and we'll talk to them next time.
We'll drag Joe down from Grafton. That's where they're not based out. They do a great job though. I'm really happy.
Are they local?
Grafton. But
Grafton,
they do
Mass?
all, yeah, they were part of another bigger lake and pond management firm. They split off and did their own thing.
Okay.
I think they're a lot more attentive to local ponds and do a.
All right, good, wonderful.
Yeah, we talked to them a bit about this project. They're just kind of saying, yeah, we got to tailor it, we got to see what the conditions are
Right,
like.
of course, that makes a lot of
So we'll
sense.
put together some concrete
Yeah,
scenarios.
okay, thank you. Any other questions from Ann? You got any questions? Bob? Okay. Dave, anything on your?
I have a lot of questions, but I'll talk to you later about it.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I move that we, with your approval, that we continue this until December?
Yeah, what's the December meeting?
Okay, thank you. Okay, folks, so we'll see you in December with your technical chemical people.
I never met him. They've been doing it 2 years almost.
Okay, well, it's about time you meet your vendor.
Don't forget that our club has liberty.
Oh, I realize
So, okay.
that. Okay, folks, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Good Thanksgiving. Okay, Dave, anything else on the agenda for tonight?
None.
So that's what we're going to ask these guys next. So your assignment is do some research on this, okay? No, do some research on potential issues of what they're planning to do. But there is a state document, there's a guidance document dated 2005. It's rather dated, but still probably applicable. But we want to cover all our bases on this. I'm sure there's.
I mean, they didn't really say very specifically what even chemicals.
They're not gonna know, the people who do the treatments are gonna know.
Yeah, but again, depends on what critter, not critters, I'm not going to say critters, but what organisms they want to treat in a given year. So it'd be like A, B, C, D, or whatever. Say, oh, okay, we've got a C scenario, so we're going to go with the C treatment, and we'll agree that C treatment's appropriate and go from there. But I don't want to give him carte blanche. Carte blanche makes no sense.
Public hearing is closed, so now we can talk.
Let me close out the meeting. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
At 8:06.
It's your turn.
Now, whoever's turn it is, just alternate back and forth.